Welcome back everyone. So today we're doing a quick video on how to do the pulley kit and belt change on the Smart 453. So basically the kits are exactly the same for both the 1 litre and the 900 turbo. The only difference between the kits are the size and the belt, and that's only if you have or have not got air conditioning. So everything's the same for both cars. Like I said, the only difference is, and I'll show you a picture when we get to it, is the length of belt, depending on whether your car has or has not got air conditioning. As always, I'll put a link to the tools that we use and links to where you can buy the parts from as well in the description. So in the kit you get the tensioner, which has got the little 4mm lock-in pin on there. We'll show you in a minute how to put that on, but with the original that's on the car at the moment, I'll show you a little 4mm bolt. Just the idle pulley, and obviously the belt. In this kit I didn't get any new bolts, but what I will do is just clean up the bolts and reapply them, and we're talking to spec. First things first, jack the car up. You might not need to, but it gives you a bit more space underneath. What you got there is the belt cover. There is 4 10mm bolts. What I'll do is I'll undo the bolts and then I'll show you where the positions are once I've got the cover off. So that is the cover and the 4 bolts. That obviously sits like that on the engine. So it's just 4 10mm bolts. Next thing you can do it on your own, or if you've got someone around to give you a hand to do that. What you got here on the top of the tensioner is a 13mm 12-point bolt. So if you put the socket on that, and then what you've got, and then just push it forward. Just be careful of the pipes there, because they are thing. What you have there is a little thing for a 4mm dowel. You get it in the kit attached originally, but that's just a little 4mm bolt, and then that makes the belt nice and loose. And all you need to do then is just knock the belt off. What I would say is, if you haven't done it before, I will put a picture in the video of how the belt goes back on, so don't worry, I will give you a diagram. So we get the belt off, and then I'll show you what's next. First things first then, just below that other bolt is a 13mm nut or bolt that needs to be removed, and that once that's removed, then we can pull the tensioner off the engine. Just on the top of the tensioner is this little plastic cover that holds this wire in. What you need to do, use a little pick tool, just pop the top cover off, and on the top there, I don't know if it'll focus, you've got a little flathead screw that screws into the top, so that just needs to come out as well. And then once you've pulled the bolt out, sorry, this will just slide off. So the next thing is, once that's off, is the idle pulley. Just on the front there, that bit there just below my pick tool, is a little dome shaped cover that covers again another 13mm bolt. What you need to do, use a pick tool or a little flat-headed screwdriver, just pop the cover off and then just unscrew the 13mm bolt. But I'll show you what the cover looks like once we've got it off. So this is the cover. Basically it just pops over there. So just get a little flathead or a pick tool and just pop underneath, and that just pops off. And then what you do, undo the 13mm bolt, and then that's your idle pulley off. We go with the new pulley, both the same, either side. So I'm going to do, obviously put that back in, and once it's in, what we need to do is we need to torque it to 50 Newton meters. So the idle pulley is 50 Newton meters, and then we'll stick the cover back on, and that's that done. And then we'll move up to the tensioner. Now moving on to the tensioner pulley. Just be careful as you put it all back in. I'll just put this in loosely. Just remember there is a locating dowel just sits in the back that goes into the slot, so it sits so it doesn't sort of move too much. This again, 13mm bolt back in, and this is torqued to 62 Newton meters. So the only nice thing to do now is to put the belt on. What I would suggest is you feed the belt down from the top. Just poke it all the way down, and then sit it on the top of the. I'll try and do it left-handed. It's not very easy done very left-handed, but yeah, we'll do. Poke it down, poke it down, poke it down, sit it on the top of the idler, and then what I do, like I said, I'm not even going to bother. That's a bit difficult left-handed. But yeah, what I'll do is, like I said, I'll put a picture in the video now in regards to how the belt goes. But what I would suggest is all the pulleys, apart from the little idler tensioner in the middle, are ribbed. So what I would suggest is you feed the belt round onto all the pulleys and leave it to the idle pulley last. And then what you need to do, once it's on, I'll show you. Or once it's easier when it's done, when you've got the pin in like this, it's easier. What we do, we'll feed it on, and then I'll show you underneath. So once the belt's back on in place, what you do is, using the bolt at the top, obviously leave it forward, which loosens the tension. You remove that 4mm dowel, and then just slowly just move the bolt back towards the rear of the car, which then obviously increases the tension on the belt. What I would do now is you go around, check to make sure that the belt is seated all the way around on the bit, and then what you can do, using a 19mm socket on the end of the crank here, rotate the crank 2 times clockwise, so this way, just so the belt then goes around the pulleys and seats correctly. And then just all you need to do then is just put that cover back on. There is no real torque spec for that, so I would do it until it goes tight, and then just a little extra nip. So that's the end of the video. As always, I hope it's helpful. Give the video a thumbs up, look to subscribe to the channel. Got some bits and bobs coming up still. Just to let you know, I didn't say at the start, the service interval for that belt is I believe 6 years or 71,000 miles. That's for both engines, either the 1 litre or the 900 turbo. And like I said, the kits are exactly the same. The only difference between the two kits is whether you have or have not got air conditioning, and it's just a slightly shorter belt if you haven't got air conditioning. But when it came to relocating the belt and putting the belt back on, I will put a diagram up for both, whether you with or without the air conditioning, and obviously I will put links in the descriptions to the tools we've used and where to get the parts from. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.